Aicraft rotable cycle times. What does that mean to you? Besides stress, what does that mean to you? It means reducing time, reducing costs, reducing inventory. But a lot of your focus goes on to repair turn times, and everybody does. But there's 5 areas that you may be overlooking. Wait 15 seconds and we'll talk about these exact 5 areas and how you can overcome them. A lot of the times is we focus on repair turn times. Oh, we got to have it done in this amount of time, or it needs to be 5 to 7 days turn time, or it needs to be 10 days with piece parting, and whatever it might be. A lot of focus goes on repair turn times, but that's not where the biggest issues are. The biggest issues are internal. Now, if we can cut the Aicraft rotable cycle times outside of the repairs, that would be huge in lead time savings. So the 5 areas that we need to focus on are stores, staging, outbound logistics, work in progress, and inbound logistics. Those 5 areas are critical to your operation. When it comes to stores, how long does it take you to take the failed component off the Aicraft? How long does it take to get into stores? Is there too many people touching it? Does it sit on the floor for too long? These are really things you need to think about when you're talking about cycle times, just on the store section, just to get it into store, so you know where it's at and it can go back out. The next is staging. How do you prepare to get the component to the repair shop or your supply chain partner? Do you box it up? Who does this work? How many people touch it? How many processes need to be conducted in your repair software? These are things that you need to think about in the stores in the staging aspect. Does it sit on the shelf for approval? These are critical questions to help expedite the process. Where can you cut down people that are touching it too often, or processes that are overly processed that you can completely eliminate? Another big one is outbound logistics. We see this time and time again, as people rely on freight forwarders to do their shipping, and that is a great way to expedite shipping, and it helps streamline processes. And really, freight forwarders are the only one who can do it. But a lot of times, as we see freight forwarders, is they quote you door to airport. You know, and when it comes to somebody like Skylink, if it hits the airport, then we have to clear customs. We have to ground transport it. So that quote you were originally given is nothing. It doesn't mean anything, because now we have to add additional expenses to clear it, and there's too many people touching it. So where it could be a 5 days airport to your door to door, now goes to 10 days. So that's just one example, but there's other ways in outbound logistics to speed up the process. How can you speed up the process to get your removed component out to the repair station in as little time as possible without overspending? The next and the most critical is the work in progress. Now, this is where you focus on repair turn time. And yes, that is critical, and I'm not negating that, but this is where you need to focus on getting your work order quoted in a quick amount of time. But once you get the quote, you have to make the decision. You have to make the decision fast. The faster you make the decision, the faster you get the component back to you, instead of sitting on decisions and bringing it up to different types of approvals. Now, this is obviously easier said than done, and if you need multiple approvals, but how do you reduce the approvals, or how do you reduce the amount of people touching the component, or having to make decisions? So work in progress is important, and the repair process is very important, but think about ways that you can help streamline this process. The last is the inbound logistics. So we first had the outbound logistics to the repair station, to the supply chain partner, but now you have inbound logistics. How do you want the repair components shipped back to you? Do you want them consolidated? Now, consolidating might add increased cycle times, which means that you're not going to have this unit accessible in the shortest amount of time, because you want to consolidate. You might be waiting on other components, or you might overnight the component right back to stores. Now, this gets complicated is when larger airlines send it to their hub repair station, or the repair central, and then ship it to another facility where the component is actually needed. that adds so much redundancy, it's crazy. So in this situation, in the outbound logistics, or inbound logistics, excuse me, you want to focus on reducing the amount of time it takes to get the component back to you, and that includes quality control. If quality control sits on a component for 5 days, it's in receiving, it's barely been looked at, it adds 5 days to your cycle time. So how can you cut down the cycle times with your inbound logistics? So you have multiple ways that you can focus on cutting down your Aicraft Rotable cycle time, from stores, outbound logistics, work in progress, inbound logistics, and there was staging as well. So focus on these 5 areas outside of your typical repair turn time, and reduce the cycle times as much as possible. If you go to the link below, we talk about ways that you can do this. We talk about some ideas. And we ask you even more questions. So go to the link below, read this article that we wrote on and it explains what I'm talking about here, and it gives you actual quantitative ideas to implement today. So go to the link below, and remember, never forget your wings.